Well, his remarks come hours after an Iranian frigate sunk just outside Sri Lanka's territorial waters. The 180 crew frigate issued a distress call during the early hours of March 4th, prompting Sri Lankan Navy to launch rescue operations. So far, 32 sailors with critical injuries have been rescued. Sri Lanka's Defense Ministry says such operations are underway for the remaining crew of the IRIS Dena. According to Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister, IRIS Dena sank 40 kilometers south of Sri Lankan coast.
So, being a maritime nation and as per the conventions in the search and rescue and the UNCLOS, we are obliged to respond any of distress out at sea, whether it is a ship, fishing vessel, or fishing craft, or the aircraft. We are the first responders, so Navy, along with the Coast Guard and the Air Force, we responded positively and swiftly, and we could able to rescue 32 survivors, and still we are doing the search and rescue operation in the particular area.
The injured soldiers are currently being treated in a local hospital. 148 more sailors remain missing, including those feared dead. Sri Lanka has deployed Navy vessels and aircraft for the rescue operations. Sri Lanka's Navy and the Air Force says they were not releasing footage of the rescue since it involves military of another state. Let's talk to our correspondent Dasuni Athoda. She's joining us on the phone. Dasuni, we do not have the numbers of those who have been reportedly killed in this drowning. Maybe you can tell us what the officials in Sri Lanka are saying about this rescue operation.
Well, we did have the media spokesperson for the Sri Lankan Navy convene an emergency press briefing just this evening, and he did confirm that over 100 personnel were aboard the ship, where some reports suggest that that number would be up to 180. And of the 180, only 32 of them were rescued and admitted to a hospital in the south of Sri Lanka. And hospital officials have also confirmed that one such individual is in a serious condition, and also giving the nature of how this entire operation took place. The Navy spokesperson did confirm that they received a distress call at around 5 to 5:10 a.m. local time, and by the time they did reach the location, they were unable to sight this military ship. And this incident certainly marks a direct military confrontation between the U.S. and Iranian forces at sea, and it is a matter of concern, especially to Sri Lanka, given that this is a highly commercial and business viable route for the Indian Ocean, and especially for Sri Lanka, given that the war has now kind of reached close proximity to the Indian Ocean.
Dasuni Athoda, we are keeping our eyes on what is really happening at the sea, because according to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, he is actually the one who admitted that the U.S. had torpedoed this Navy ship or this warship in Iran. But still, what more information do you have from the Sri Lankan Navy as pertains to this sunken ship?
Well, as of right now, the Sri Lankan Navy or the military in general have not come forward since that last press briefing we've had several hours ago in relation to this, and I'm sure that there will be further clarification in the coming hours regarding the nature of this, and especially with that previous press conference as well, Eric, when the journalists were pressing the military spokesperson for the reason for this attack. They were quite tight-lipped. They did not want to divulge much of the reasons at that point. So we are expecting further clarification, especially in relation to maybe some progress in relation to search and rescue operations, or even the bodies that were found, because again, numbers were not yet being made public here in Sri Lanka.
Is our correspondent in Sri Lanka. Dasuni, thank you very much for that information. And the Secretary of War did admit that the U.S. submarine shot down an Iranian warship, which Sri Lankan Navy rescued some of the crew, which is 32, and the ship had over 150 people on board. Let's talk to our correspondent, Susan Teherani. She's now live in New York. Susan, a lot has been admitted by the Secretary of War and the Chiefs of Staff for the army, Dan Kane. Dan Kane says the names of the fallen soldiers have been revealed. The 4 names have been revealed. 2 other names will be revealed later. The Dan Kane also says 2,000 targets have been hit, neutralized Iran's naval presence, CENTCOM to continue strikes on targets in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, he also mentioned that America and Israeli forces, they have air superiority over the skies of Iran right now, not complete control, but they said that it's very close. This is, according to both men, this will help them really pinpoint and target where those missiles are being shot from inside of Iran, because many of them are underground or they're in caves, and they can start attacking and targeting those pinpoint missile launchers as well. He also said, quote, as you mentioned, it's very early. As President Trump has said, we will take all the time we need to make sure that we succeed. They also said that it's been the first 100 hours or so. It's very early in the war, but that they believe that they are ahead of plans, according to the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, Dan Kane.
Susan, the secretary was more assertive today because he says it was never meant to be a fair play. More waves are coming. We are accelerating, not decelerating. We will avenge the 6 American soldiers killed.
Yes, they were very clear that this mission is going to continue until it succeeds. And the chairman also sort of tried to ease some concerns about how fast this operation is moving, because there were concerns that it would be a drawn-out war. While they do say that it will remain as long as it takes, both Hegseth and General Kane were very adamant in sending this message that the operations are moving fast, and perhaps that timeline of 4 to 5 weeks may hold at this point. They also said that they have alliances now from neighboring countries because Iran has indiscriminately started attacking civilian infrastructures in the Gulf countries. And, you know, that was something that the United States has admitted that it was somewhat of a surprise. But they say that with cooperation with those countries, they're able to neutralize that to a certain extent.
All right, so that's the latest coming in from the United States. Susan Teherani is our correspondent there. She's keeping an eye on what is happening at the Pentagon and also in Washington, D.C. Susan, thank you. Well, this is just news that has just come in at this moment, and at least 80 people have been killed in U.S. submarine strike on an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean. We just spoke about this a few moments ago. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, did admit that the United States submarine torpedoed the warship in Iran, and it sank the ship, and Sri Lanka went to the rescue of this Navy ship. And Sri Lanka Deputy Foreign Minister has just said that this on local TV. This is the first time Sri Lanka has released official numbers on the number of people killed so far after US confirmed its strike on an Iranian warship. Again, 80 people have died following the sinking of the warship from Iran by the United States. At least 80 people were killed by a submarine which torpedoed the Iranian warship. And this has been admitted by Sri Lankan Deputy Foreign Minister, who was talking on local TV in the country. This is the first time Sri Lanka has released official numbers of the number of those people killed so far.